All right, good morning, traders. Today is September 19th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you for being here. Appreciate everybody out there in digital land, podcast land, cyber land, all of you that follow my content, subscribe to my content. Um, Give me the thumbs up, give me the like, give me the hearts, leave kind words. Thank you. Appreciate all of that. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content, helping get the good word out there to the rest of the world. I appreciate that. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, let's go take a look at the markets today. Before we look, let's take a look at some announcements. All right. Rick Sadler from Hit and Run Candlesticks going to have a Road to Wealth workshop September 23rd, 2025. All right. That's this Tuesday. All right. Starts at 8:45. You might want to get there early. All right. A lot of videos to check out before you get there. All right. So 8:45 to about 4:15. All right. If you want to know how to attend, it is free to attend, but you have to register. You can find the link in my description of this video, or you can pause the screen right now, take your smartphone, scan this little QR box. A pop-up will appear. Click the pop-up, and then that will open up a browser window with the registration form on it on your smartphone. And from there, you fill out the form, and they will email you the credentials to get into the room for Tuesday. Please check your spam folder for your credentials before writing to service at hitandruncandlesticks.com, okay, in case you can't get in. All right, just saying that's probably where your credentials are going to be. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on today. All right. Today's September 19th. My pivot, 663.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five made new all-time highs yesterday. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute downtrend. Silver made an inside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. Gold made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. USO made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap and under the 17. US dollar index still in a downtrend. We like that. Closed near 97.35, just kind of inching back up there. They failed to make a significant lower low, so possibility we're going to go test some highs. We'll see what happens in the US dollar index. That means possible pullback in silver and gold if we're going to go up there and test those highs. SPY, max pain today, 662. Get this, a put to call ratio of about 5.5 put. I don't think I've ever seen it that high. 5.5 puts to each call that expires today. Just want to say there's a put squeeze on the table. All right. So, or a short squeeze is on the table. So we could see a huge rip out of the gate this morning. All right. Just want to get you guys prepared. Okay. And that's for the options. That'd be the calls and the puts that expire today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4 p.m. It is quadruple witching. That means tremendous volatility. We'll see what happens. Hey, good morning, Rickster. Yes, you never know if they're long or short the puts. Exactly. Yes. You're right, Rickster. You're right. So we'll see what happens, though. Okay. Right now, the 15-minute is in an uptrend. Okay, I believe. We'll take a peek at it in a few minutes here. Okay, so here's SPY. We'll run through the daily charts real quick. Okay, higher low, higher high. Closing Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, new all-time high. Okay, they're all bullish and in uptrends. Let's just take care of that right now. Okay, they all made new all-time highs, so you know they're all bullish and they're all in uptrends, closing at the top of quadrant 4. If you want to see the picture, I'll scan through them. There's SPY. Okay, top of quadrant 4, QQQ. Okay, top of quadrant 4, IWM. Yep, there we go. I said probably going to get new all-time high for IWM before we roll over. All right, so IWM, new all-time high. Diamond Dow, new all-time high. FNGU, new all-time high. T2123 did not print a new all-time high. All right, let's go back to SPY. All right, let's pick up the 2-hour trend. 2-hour in an uptrend coming into the close. Okay, 10-minute. And the 10-minute, we have a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on top of this. Do not want to break this. This would be the rate cut anchored VWAP low. All right, do not want to break that. All right, you can spike it. You can give me the rubber band candle. Below that, I think we're coming down for a hard fall. All right, if we break the rubber band candle on the SPY anchored VWAP low, that's the rate cut anchored VWAP low, which occurred on the 17th. Okay, do not want to break that. Okay, just saying, I would not want to break that. That's the rate cut. All right, get below that, I think we're headed for a hard fall. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Okay, let's take a look at, what do we want to look at next? Game plan. Game plan right here. All right, let's pull this over here. Okay, so we got green erases red up over 664.20. We'll see how that goes. We are bumping our head on the top of this channel line, the upper channel line. We're bumping our head on that. And nothing says we can't blast through it and start a new channel up above it. All right, just saying that's a possibility. All right, so price action, green erases red over 664.20. My pivot, 663.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 662. That would be a bearish red erases green entry. Be careful. You've got the rate cut anchored VWAP low right there. All right, it's very possible they cut through, bounce on it, and then rip back up. All right, so there's SPY on the game plan there. And let's take a look at a big gap open right there to fill. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. I like 7 days. This is for both SPY and QQQ. I like 7 days and 14 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5, meaning like 590, 595, 600. If you're on the SPY, probably 665, 700, 670, 675. Okay, the multiple of 5. I like them with strikes that are $2 to $15 out of the money. You don't have to trade out of the money. I'm just saying they're cheaper. All right. They have no intrinsic value. They are cheaper, and it's a lot less risk than you are with the ones that are in the money. And by the way, today, probably going to be very volatile. You might really want to consider, I'm going to really consider, I'm not telling you what to do. Okay, I'm going to really consider taking the out of the money calls because of the volatility. Because if I'm going to lose, I don't want to lose big. All right, so could be some wild whippy days that occur today because of quadruple witching. All right, so there's the 10-minute. There is the 10-minute. Now I like. This is my favorite trade. 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. All right, I like when those 10-minute uptrends are residing inside of the 2-hour uptrend. And I like it when that 2-hour uptrend is inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. Again, I like to have all those bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend, all right? So that's my favorite trade, is that 10-minute uptrend. Just going to say 6 months, 9 months from now, you're not going to have a scenario where all of these bigger time frames all right, are all still in uptrends. I doubt it. I hope it's not that case, but just saying it may not be that way 6-9 months from now. All right, so I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like them when they're peeling. All right, so the trap, that would be the 3 and the 8, and the price action candles are peeling away from VWAP, up, and away. All right, I like the 10-minute downtrends that are peeling away from VWAP. In other words, they're dropping, dipping down, and away. That would be the 3 EMA, the 8 EMA on the 10-minute chart, and the price action candles are all dipping down, and away from VWAP, okay? I like those downtrends. Now, if an uptrend happens to manifest down here, I'm not opposed to trading that uptrend long before it gets to the green erases red entry. I just like to see it break the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. And if a downtrend happens to manifest up here where the green erases red entry, long before it gets to the red erases green entry, I'm not opposed to trading it as long as it breaks the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. All right? Again, pivot above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. But if the move is done for the bulls, good chance the bear's going to have a pullback. And if it gets below VWAP, that's even more enticing when it's below VWAP. All right? Keep in mind, don't forget, rate cut anchored VWAP low. All right? That would be don't want to close below that. Don't want to start closing candles below that line right there. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look. QQQ's got one as well. All right, it's pretty much the same thing. I like the same options. I like the same uptrends. All right, green erases red over 559.80. Pivot 596. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green. Okay, underneath 595. Now, I'm not opposed to trading 0 DTE in the money. All right, but if I have a small account and I'm just starting out, those are the ones I like. Okay, I'm not opposed to trading zeros or in the money options or both. Okay, in the money options that are 0 DTEs. Okay, just gonna say they are riskier than the ones that give you more time. These move a little bit slower. All right. And also they move a little bit slower when the strikes are out of the money. So in other words, you don't get the performance, okay, but you don't have to pay up as much, and hence on that note, you're not risking as much. Okay, you're not going to get the performance that you would from a 0 DTE in the money option. Okay, I'm just saying I'm not opposed to trading them, but this is what I would do if I had a small account. All right, so just letting you guys know that if somebody else teaches you that this is the way to do it, it really is, but you got to be very disciplined with shutting it down as soon as the 3 crosses the 8 on the 5 or on the 10-minute chart. Okay, so there's QQQ game plan, SPY game plan. All right, let's take a peek at silver and gold. All right, we'll head out to the daily chart. Come down here to the scratch. Let's pick up GLD. Okay, GLD, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Still in an uptrend. Yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, closing in the bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Again, that dollar creeping up because it failed to make a significant lower low. All right, dollar's creeping up. Good chance you see a pullback on SPY and GLD, maybe to the midpoint or to the lower third of the last move. So I'd take the quad lines, move them in there, and I would look for price. You probably test the 1/3 area. Let's get the drawing tools out, see if they can happen to manifest real quick. So, like right about here, okay, that would be the 1/3. This is the move up. That would be the upper third of the move up. So right back to 328, or possibly the midpoint, 322. So either here at 322, here at 338.23. Come test the upper third line. It's a possibility that might happen because the dollar's creeping up because it failed to make a significant lower low. All right, so there's GLD. Okay, same thing, all right, on SLV, all right, because they are driven by the value of the dollar most of the time. Let's take a look at silver. Again, I would take my quad lines and I would take the last move, include this one, that low, up to that high, and well, you can see they already had a pullback right there. Okay, so this would be the upper third, anything above there, and then of course the midpoint right around here. Okay, so 36, 37.03. Okay, look for a price to probably J-hook off of there, maybe fail to make a higher high. Look for price to J-hook off of there, maybe fail to make a higher high. Maybe, okay? Just saying that, look how the midpoint lines up with the top of this doji candle up here at the top. That's amazing how that works out like that. Okay, you can almost could have projected based on this move up here. See that from right there, midpoint back to the low, back up to the midpoint, twice as high, brings you up to 39. All right, so there's silver, there's gold. All right, because of the creeping dollar, creeping back up, there's a possibility of pullback to the upper third and again to the midpoint of the quad lines. Okay, let's take a look at USO. USO has a habit moving up, giving it up. Okay, again, moving up to quadrant 4, was up here, back there again, giving it up. Okay, and then back up again to break into the upper third, couldn't quite make it, gives it up again. Right now, this is just neutral. If it's up in here in the upper third, okay, that's bullish. Down here, bearish. In between, just neutral. So we're neutral, all right, and we're in an uptrend. That's not moving up. Okay, we got in an uptrend by, see that peak right there on that candle wick? All right, we took that out 3 days ago, right there. Okay, so ever since taking it out, we've been, I don't know, melting off, all right? So it's not moving up, all right? It is holding the higher ground up here, all right? Not much, okay? It's not a big accomplishment, all right? But it's been up over the 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's a pink line for a long time now, all right? So price action is technically in an uptrend that's not moving up, and we are just neutral. It's not ready yet, okay? Definitely not ready. UNG, okay, down here in the middle of quadrant 1, that's bearish, okay, and still in a downtrend, okay? Had they taken out this high, they could have been in an uptrend. They failed to take out the high, okay, but they could have been in an uptrend by taking out that high. See that, making a higher low and taking out the high would have made a higher high, therefore negating the downtrend and converting the uptrend, okay? They couldn't even do that, all right? So price action, all right, still in a downtrend, okay, because they failed to make a higher high, all right, and still bearish, all right, because you're down here in quadrant 1, halfway in the midpoint of quadrant 1, right through there. So there's UNG, bearish, still in a downtrend, right there. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. And get rid of that. Let's take a look at the economic package. All right, trading charts. Okay, so we closed yesterday. Here's the dollar, still in that bear flag. Okay, bear flag down and over to the right. Okay, so this will be yesterday's candle because we're on the daily chart. So we close at the high of the body, all right, roughly about 97.33, 97.35 area, okay, right there. Okay, see it creeping back up, all right, and you see the low here, not a significant lower low, so there's a possibility price runs back up to challenge this high, and if that high doesn't hold, we're going after this high right here. So still in a bear flag, all right, just failed to make that significant lower low, all right. So we got a little trend line right here, all right, that goes from there to there, Okay, we'll have to keep an eye and see if they break this trend line right through there. All right, so there's US dollar. Okay, still in a bear flag, still weak. We like that. All right, let's take a look at SPY Max Pain. All right, that's for today. Max Pain 662. Put to call ratio about 5.5 puts for each call that it expires today. Wow, a lot of puts out there. And let's take a look at the economic calendar. Today is quadruple witching, and we got a rig count at 1 o'clock, and then that's it for the rest of the day. Okay, so really light day. It'd be all focus will be on the volatility of the options. All right. Earnings report. There is nothing to report on the earnings. Just familiar names, if there are any at all. Okay, and nothing here that's going to be market moving. All right, so we just ran through all the economic data. All right, I'll take some questions in the room. If there isn't any, I will render my video and get it ready for Digital Land, Podcast Land. All right, if not, I'm going to get ready for that. So a put squeeze is on the table today, okay? Possible put squeeze, all right? Now, they need to apply the pressure right out of the gate. If you give them a dip to double down and get out in, all right, the put squeeze won't be as effective as it will if you rip right out of the gate, okay? So we'll see what happens. All right, I'll see you guys in about an hour, all right? In about 1 hour, I'll be back.